We went on a champagne catamaran cruise. We went on a winery tour up through the peninsula, and we did a biking and kayaking brewery tour. But we also ate at some really great restaurants.
The reason I laughed, if you look in your background now, there's the Sydney Opera House. Carla and I just went to Sydney in August.
Almost a year ago.
Last August.
Right.
I guess in a couple of days it'll be a year.
Yeah.
So I was nervous. I was like, oh no, he had a horrible experience in Sydney.
No, I love Sydney. Sydney was awesome.
Well, the truth is, we got lucky. We found the best guide ever. His name's Jimmy. And we met him at the Sydney Fish Market. And he piled us in, about 10 of us, into this van. It was modified. It was something he built out. And took us up into the Hunter Valley wine region.
Right.
And along the way, we stopped at this rest area overlooking a marina and had breakfast that he cooked right there on these gas grills that they got right there inside the park. Maybe it's electric. Anyway, he then spread out this tablecloth on the picnic table and took the fish that he bought at the Sydney fish market and taught us to make our own sushi for eating later that day.
Wow.
And then the rest of the day, we went to these wineries, and he fed us at every one of the wineries food that he's cooking right there on his van.
Sure.
Because he modified it. He had a handicap area that he turned into his grill area.
Right.
It's just fantastic. And now he also does the Blue Mountains. So I can't wait to go back up there. We're actually scheduled to go next June. We're starting out in Singapore, and then we're going down to Brisbane, and we're going to definitely fly down to Sydney and visit Jimmy again and get back out there. Hopefully do that Blue Mountains tour, because I got to see him again. He's an amazing guy.
That's awesome. Very cool. I think you're going to have a great time. Brisbane, I don't know if you've been to Brisbane yet or not.
No, so that'll be interesting.
We ended our 3-week Australian tour in Brisbane, and they have a koala sanctuary and a little river tour, and it's definitely wonderful. Yeah.
So I got to brag on Carla. My Sazerac is absolutely gorgeous. Oh, now, I will tell you this. Let me ask you this. I'm going to put you on the spot here, since you're an amazing bartender. What do you do with the absinthe?
I'll be honest with you. I've never been a fan of the Sazerac.
All right.
Not my drink, not my style.
That is fair. It's not something you would probably even have anybody order in Jacksonville.
Well, I was saying, and at Ruth's Chris, we didn't even carry absinthe. So
down in California, I can't even imagine.
We didn't have absinthe there either. So that was before that was a popular thing.
So I've been to New Orleans, and I've been to bars where they actually include the absinthe in the recipe. You rinse the glass with absinthe. You pour absinthe in the glass, rinse it around, and then pour it out.
Right.
Otherwise, it's far too strong. Absinthe is way too strong to be able to actually consume, unless you really, truly are into that. But for a Sazerac, you pour it out.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at.
A lot of places do like a dry martini. You'll take the dry vermouth, you'll put it in the glass, swirl it around, dump it out, and that's how you make your dry martini.
I have to try this.
You're like, I want to see the success of my wares.
I am so glad that he likes it. I think it's disgusting. Not my drink. It's just nasty.
Hey, as long as you love him and he's not disgusting, you're fine.
Every day is different.
We'll get there someday. Maybe she'll love me. I don't know. So, if you had an extra $1,000 a month in your personal budget to do anything you wanted with, what would you do? All right, Michael Myers.
You know, I really don't know. I love what I do, and I haven't really thought about it. If I had an extra $1,000, I'd probably just put it towards maintenance of the restaurants. To be honest with you, it's, I don't know if you know how quickly restaurants go downhill, but they get used by so many people every day. It's really rough. So yeah, I'd probably just put it into maintenance and be like, hey, you know what? Oh, I can now afford to upgrade that piece of equipment. I can now afford to get those chairs reupholstered. I can get those tables refinished. I can get a new new fresh coat of paint on the walls. You have to do that anyway, but
of course,
on a regular basis, it would be nice to be able to do it without coming out of the budget.
Spoken like a true entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's
fun.
But
I asked your personal budget. Suddenly, you have an extra $1,000 a month. What do you do?
Oh, okay. Well, that's easy. My fiance lives in New York. We try to see each other at least one weekend a month, but it gets expensive.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so you got a second to hear a story?
Of course, yes. That's why we're here.
Okay. So my fiance, her name's Jenny. I've known her for 25 years. I met her at Virginia Wesleyan College and immediately fell in love. She was just an amazing, amazing woman. I say woman, at the time she's a year younger than I am. So we became great friends, and I was dating my wife at the time. I was dating her. I introduced them, and they became best friends. So Jenny and Quita, my wife's name's Quita. So they were best friends immediately. They hit it off so well. So the three of us would hang out all the time. Jenny went away, went to law school in Los Angeles. We moved. Quita and I got engaged. We moved to Los Angeles. We lived with her for a while when we first moved there. And then she ended up moving in with us for her last semester of law school. She was my wife's maid of honor. My wife was her matron of honor later the same year. So we've been best friends our entire life. And then when my wife passed away, Jenny and I decided to try to see if there was anything more than friendship. Turned out there was. It's great. It is great. So we got engaged. Actually, let's see. Last year, November, we were flying to London to go to the Jaguars game in London. We went to London, went to Paris, and we got engaged on that trip. And it was kind of crazy to think that your two best friends that you've had, Quita and Jenny, and I'm married one and engaged the other. So it's been a really great ride.
I can definitely appreciate that. I recognize that that it's very challenging to lose someone you love. From the year 2015 to the year 2018, I lost my father, my brother, and my mother.
Oh my God!
All within those 3 years.
Wow.
So I truly understand.
Yeah.
I'm I know that you actually lost your wife to cancer, right?
Yes, yes. She
I
had breast
do,
cancer and it metastasized to her brain, and yeah. Then you
yeah,
learn words like leptomeningeal carcinomatosis,
of
and these
course.
are fun words to learn.
My mom had breast cancer. She did not die from it, but she did have it, and she was a survivor. And my father did die from cancer. Um, we actually have one of our clients, as you know, we own a travel agency. One of our clients actually developed cancer after she was a client. You know, she'd been a client for a while, and she shared with us that she had developed cancer. And in honor of that, and of course, everything that it's done to our family, we actually are hosting a group cruise next October. Not this October, but 2021, to raise money for cancer awareness. So, anyway, moving to more positive things. When I know you mentioned Sydney, you mentioned the Saget reviews. When you travel, how do you find great food? What is it that you look for?
I use TripAdvisor a lot. I use Zagat and Frommer's Guide if I'm traveling overseas. I'm I I'm a I'm a bit of a foodie. I love fine dining. Like, so I just took a trip to Traverse City, Michigan. Uh, I met my fiance out there. We had a great time. We went on a champagne catamaran cruise. We went on a winery tour up through the peninsula, and we did a we did a biking and kayaking brewery tour. Um, but we also ate at some really great restaurants, and that's what I did. I looked it up, tried to find the best reviews, tried to find the best restaurants. We found a place up on the peninsula called the Boathouse. The menu at the Boathouse. This was 2.5 weeks ago. The menu at the Boathouse is as if I would have written all my personal favorite stuff on a menu. I mean, it was incredible. We started out with champagne and Osetra caviar. We had half a dozen oysters that were just, I mean, perfect. A little bit of brininess, just excellent. We had shrimp cocktail and crab cakes, and I had a 12-ounce Wagyu ribeye that literally melted in your mouth. Foie gras that was absolutely seared perfectly. Just an amazing meal. And it was in a random place that we found in Michigan that happened to have good reviews as a fine dining restaurant. So you never know. You know, we ended up with we had like I said, a bottle of champagne for the oysters and the caviar, and then we had a bottle of Quintessa for the mains. And Quintessa is absolutely one of my favorite wines of all time. So it's great.
I've got a place for you down here in the Orlando, well, Central Florida area. So if you love oysters, the next time you're down here, let me know and I'll take care of you.
You can't leave me hanging. What's the name?
It's the Claremont. Believe it or not, I live in Claremont, Florida. It's called Claremont Oyster Bar, and you wouldn't be able to find it if somebody didn't tell you where it is. It's a hole in the wall kind of place, but man, they get some amazing, huge oysters, and they stuff them right there for you.
They get the cow tongues. Was it like that?
Yeah, they're big. Yeah.
They're meaty. They're meaty.
Yeah. And they have other food that is amazing too. Fresh shrimp, good stuff.
When I'm in Central Florida, I go to usually Victoria and Albert's or Burns Steakhouse.
Wait, what steakhouse?
Burns, BERN''S.
I'm not familiar.
It's closer to Tampa. It's kind of halfway between Tampa and.
Okay.
Yeah, so it might actually be. It's just outside of Tampa.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I think I have heard of it in conjunction with Tampa, but because I've been to pretty much all of them here in Central Florida.
Right.
And
right.
I make a better steak than any of them.
There's the, what is it? The one that's in the Waldorf Astoria, Bull and Bear, or something like that.
Bull and yeah, it might be Bull and Bear.
It's in the Waldorf Astoria right there.
I know which one you're talking about. I haven't actually had that one, I'll admit. But I've been to a lot of the steakhouses here, and I still would rather grill my own steak.
We all have our opinions.
So funny story about that. I was grilling steaks when I owned some property in Southern Illinois.
Okay.
And I had a tech startup, and I sold that property and moved up to St. Louis, where I could be closer to revenue streams and knowledge. And we moved into an apartment, and I couldn't have a grill. So I learned how to use a cast iron skillet, and I 500 degrees, put it in the oven, let it sit there for a half an hour, get nice. 10 minutes later, I've got an amazing steak. And then, and now that we're back down here, I actually have a pellet grill. You know, I enjoy that. That's a good finish. But that cast iron steak, I have a hard time finding anything that rivals it when it comes to steak.
I grew up in West Virginia, so I'm very familiar with cast iron. It's a kind of a thing in West Virginia. But may I recommend?
Shoot.
Anytime you do a steak, here's what I do. I take it out to my Weber. I throw it on there. I turn it up as high as it'll go. I get that cast iron just steaming hot. I throw a little oil in it. I throw the steak in it. 30 seconds. I flip the steak over. 30 seconds. Then I pull it off and put it on the grill.
Of course.
Yeah. Yep. And that is absolutely the perfect steak, in my opinion. You give it a couple minutes on each side, and it is great. Mid-rare, charred on the outside. You sealed all those juices in. You know, I like to marinate my steaks first. And when you put it in the cast iron, it seals it on both sides so that all that marinade stays in. And then you put it on the grill it up to the right temperature, pull it off, let it rest for 10 minutes. Golden.
You're speaking my language. All right, Barney. So here's the real question.
Okay.
Anywhere in the world, you could only go one more meal. Where would it be?
Oh, wow. Now that's ironic because, like, my favorite place in the world wasn't necessarily my favorite food in the world, but when I was in the Navy, we did a ball tops.
Okay.
And I went to Oslo, Norway.
That's a sore subject for me. I'll tell you why in a minute. Go ahead.
Okay. So Oslo, Norway was absolutely the most perfect city for me, as far as the energy of that city, the music. I'm like, every 50 yards, you ran into somebody playing a new instrument. Just out there on the street, just playing an instrument for no reason at all. And the restaurants were right there on the wharf. It was just an incredible city in the summer when we were there. So now, also in the winter, I've never been. I don't know. It could be horrible. But that was probably my favorite city I've ever been to. But for food, Napa Valley across the board. I love Napa. Love everything about Napa. One of the few places I've never been that I've always wanted to go was French Laundry. But even if I can't go to French Laundry, Napa Valley, the wine, the food, just perfect.
So help me out here. Is it because the wine is so spectacular and it pairs so well, or is it truly that they do have amazing artists in the kitchen?
I think it's kind of like the chicken and the egg
combination.
But because you have such amazing wine, you attract the people who enjoy the wine and who enjoy the food, And so the best chefs go there to pair the wine with the food because they know those are the type of people that are going to go to that place. So it is such an attraction for both foodies and so when I was at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, I went and got my sommelier license also.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I appreciate great food, but I also appreciate great wine. And the combination thereof, where you pair that great wine with that great food, is that's my thing.
Okay. So the next time you head over to Australia, you let me know, and I'll connect you with Jimmy, and we'll take good care of you.
There you go. Exactly. Now I have to go a little further south, like down to Melbourne, to get to the really good, towards the really good wineries there. So,
Fair enough. Hunter Valley is good though. We found some good wines in that area.
Sure.
Definitely some sweet wines.
See, I don't care for the sweet wines,
I picked that up. So what was I going to share with you? You mentioned something.
Oh, you were talking about the Norway, and now you missed the
ball tops. So unfair. For me, we were getting ready for a 4-month pleasure cruise into the ball tops. It was 4 months long. We're going into the ball tops. We're ready to go. And our sister ship failed qualifications.
Right.
So we got to go to the Red Sea instead.
Are you serious?
6 months in the Red Sea. I spent, and it was the one cruise that I decided, you know what? I'm not going to drink the entire cruise. I'm going to work out. I'm just going to enjoy all these amazing ports that I go to. Because I couldn't remember, I had been to a lot of ports and I didn't remember a lot of them. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to remember all of them.
Right.
We went to Dubai, United Arab Emirates, 7-8 times at least.
Hey, well, if you're not drinking, that's a perfect place for you.
That's true. I had fun there, but I learned a lot. But yeah, I'm still a little bit salty about ball tops.
Oh my God.
But anyway. So if I mention the word cuisine, what does that mean to you?
It means the food of the area you're in. I mean, like New Orleans, their cuisine is so different. It's so Creole. It's so spicy. It's so perfect, in my opinion, for what I'm looking for. I love New Orleans cuisine, but like if you go to Greek cuisine, and the first thing you think of is what's native to Greek, and the gyros and the spanakopita, and that kind of stuff is just, so everybody's got their own cuisine. It just means local food. So culture, 100%.
Okay, I like that. So how about cocktail? I say cocktail, you say.
I love bourbon. As far as if I'm doing a cocktail, give me a perfect bourbon. A rye bourbon old fashioned is my drink of choice.
If only I had known. Wow. You're speaking my language. I taught Carla to make a perfect old fashioned.
Oh yeah?
Oh nice. Yeah. For me, an old fashioned has to have a sugar cube, an actual sugar cube.
Yes.
A couple of dashes of Angostura. I will sometimes allow a splash of some kind of a soda water, even ginger beer, just a splash, just a little bit to be able to muddle that sugar cube.
Right.
It's interesting. And then, of course, the bourbon and always stirred. You can't shake anything.
No.
Gotta have a dirty cherry. Gotta have the orange.
Luxardo cherry.
We like the filthy black ones, but anything other than it can't be a maraschino. Anything other than a maraschino.
But Luxardo is the best.
Luxardo is amazing.
But I will disagree with you on the Angostura. There's a lot of great bitters out there. that are not Angostura.
There's some orange bitters I like.
The hell
We
of bitters
play
are
around with that
that
sometimes.
kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few bitters out there that are really, really good without being the classic Angostura.
I don't disagree with you, and I've played around with some of them.
Sure.
But you know what I really love? I love to make an old fashioned, and I use that loosely. It just gives you a structure, if you will.
Sure.
With mezcal. Thanks, Carla. Mezcal, grapefruit bitters, and it has to be a good quality añejo mezcal. You know, a good quality liquor.
Yeah.
Just to me, doing an old fashioned with different types of liquors is the way to go. It's fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what's your favorite tequila?
I can't remember the name of it. Have you ever heard of Rob Weiss's?
No.
Have you heard of the Rob Report?
Yes, of course.
ROBB?
I actually had a subscription for many years.
Okay, so Rob Report did something called Rob Weiss's, and it's a subscription service, roughly $100 a month.
Right.
And they'll send you a box with all these cool things in it. And like I've got some glasses. I'm not using them tonight, but they actually have it's crystal glass with a skull in the bottom.
This is my favorite glass because it's got booze in it.
This one's yeah, there you go. This one's dirty, but if you look, it's got a crystal skull. It's got a skull in it.
Very cool.
So this was one that was included in one of our boxes.
Right.
And I think that actually was the one that was included with the mezcal. And I can't remember the name of that mezcal, but that one was definitely my favorite. My favorite everyday mezcal is Casamigos. Casamigos they do a good job.
They are honestly, it's actually, they've really come up. It's almost like the Tito's of tequila, where Tito's came out of nowhere and now they're a huge vodka. Yes, so Casamigos is the same way with tequila.
So I have Cancun to thank for that. We were wandering around Cancun and we stumbled on this little guy. This guy got a hold of us and said, "Come over here." And we did this tour, and he had a goat out there, and it just was funny. It was on the side of the road, and he shared with us that there are different types of tequila. Before that, honestly, this was many, many years ago, but before that, to me, tequila was that Patron Silver.
Sure.
I hated it. I was like, no, I don't like tequila. But he taught me the differences, the reposado, the añejo, the extra añejo. And I realized that I actually love this.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I love tequila. I love, my favorite is actually Clase Azul.
Okay, I do. Actually, that sounds very familiar. I don't think that's the one, but I have had it and I love it.
Clase Azul is, don't get me wrong, the bottle is beautiful. But it's got a little bit of vanilla to it, a little bit of smokiness to it. It is, oh my God, so good.
Yes.
It's not like you're stupid expensive, but it's not cheap either. So it's kind of, it's at the top end, but not without, it's cheaper than Don Julio 1942, which was one of my favorites, before that. But once I found this, it is so smooth, like so smooth.
All right, Barney. So here's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
You've been an amazing guest, and I do want you to stick around for a few more minutes. I'm going to bring Carla on, allow her to share some fun foodie facts. I don't know what she's talking about right now. Every week it's different. She shares fun foodie facts about different things that relate to our guests. I'm not sure where she's going to go this week, but yeah, exactly.
He never knows what I'm talking about.
No, I never know. Yeah.
Ever.
Well, I just shut up and sit in the corner. So we're going to bring her on, let her share some fun and foodie facts. Do you mind sticking around, and I'll bring you back on to see what your thoughts are on what she shares?
I would love that.
Fantastic. Hang on one second.
Cool.
Okay, fun foodie facts. Here's a fun foodie fact about our podcast. Most of you know that my little dog makes an appearance almost every episode. Say hi, Sam. What you may not know is this dog is obsessed with me. He's a little mama's baby. Can't be without me unless we're doing the podcast. And then he's obsessed with his dad. About half the time during this podcast, he's sitting off camera on his dad's lap. When dad is busy, he's like, I need you right now, daddy, right now. So he's going to go see his dad right now. So I decided to do something a little bit different this week. As most of you know, Bryce was in the Navy for many years. He was in the Navy BC. That stands for before Carla. So he was not in the Navy when we were married. Now that we're married. Anyway. But many of our guests are Navy buddies of Bryce's. So I decided to do fun foodie facts about the Navy. So there are 4 basic meals served on a Navy vessel when it's underway. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and midrats, or midnight rations. So I will no longer be having midnight snacks. I will be having midnight rations. Let's be honest, though. I'm in bed by 10:30. Navy cooks strive to make the high-volume meals they prepare enjoyable because it's very closely related to morale. You know, you don't want a bunch of bitchy sailors. If you get a craving for SOS, and you can call that whatever you want. My dad called it same old slop. I've heard it's called stuff on a shingle. Everybody has their own interpretation of what SOS stands for. Or something like creamed eggs. There are actually several naval cuisine cookbooks that you can buy, which I think we need to get one of those. It takes about 17,300 meals to feed an aircraft carrier that is on a combat mission. That's a lot of food. The USS Harry S. Truman has over 100 cooks. And I bet still they don't clean up after themselves like they should. Sorry. The Navy includes special meals to boost morale, such as Taco Tuesdays and Mongolian Grill Nights. I'm here for the Taco Tuesdays. Today's Tuesday. Go get me tacos. And finally, sailors who have birthdays while at sea are treated to a special meal, that calendar munch, which includes a tablecloth, wine glass, nice music, and a main course of prime rib or lobster. And I am 100% in favor of this practice. I would love to have that done for me on my birthday, and Bryce would 100% do that. But honestly, I would also just like to him, feed me soft pretzels for 24 hours. So, fun foodie facts.
All right. So,
are you kidding me? They get I'm sorry. Exactly how many special birthday dinners did you have on the Navy?
None.
I googled this.
None.
Any of this is true. I told him before I went. I was like, "This is on Google."
No,
I read it ahead of time, and I was like, "Should I say it? No? You know what? I'm gonna let this go. I want to see what Barney has to say."
Maybe it's a new practice.
No, you got nothing. Zero. Nothing. You got no recognition. You got no cake. You got no tablecloth with wine glasses and soft music and prime ribbon. No.
I was 98% sure that was wrong, but I left it in there because I wanted to see what you guys did.
No.
You know what, though? The truth is, in this new, softer Navy, I can see that happening. I mean, these guys get to talk to their spouses all day, every day. They get to message her. They get to play games. I mean, come on.
And by the way, shit on a shingle is chipped beef and white gravy on toast.
My dad would agree with you.
Yeah. It's And mid-rats, honestly, were kind of a savior. I'm not going to lie. That was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will tell you. So my dad never set foot on a ship until he went on the, I don't remember what year it was, but we did a,
I'll stop helping.
No, go ahead.
Tiger cruise.
Yeah. I was impressed. She actually knew what I was talking about. Yeah, Tiger Cruise. He went on a Tiger Cruise on the Sandjack. It was the very first time he ever set foot on a ship. 26, I don't remember. Over 20 years in the Navy, he never set foot on a ship until he went on my Tiger Cruise while I was in the Navy.
Was he an air debt?
What's that? Well, so he was what they called a toy doctor. TD something. He worked on the trainers that taught aircraft carrier, the aircraft trainers. Anyway, even then, he was so in love with the Navy. We would go to the Navy base. I was a little kid. He would take me to the Navy base to have breakfast because he wanted SOS. Or creamed eggs, for that matter. Or the what's the meat stuff?
Spam?
No, not spam. Corned beef. That's the other thing. He loved corned beef. And they would serve that all day long in the galley. Anyway. What was the other thing she said? There were two things she said that I was like, there's no freaking way. It was the last two things she said.
Taco Tuesdays?
Taco Tuesday. Did you ever have Taco Tuesday?
Hold on. There was never once a morale choice of food that would help us out. Never.
I'll have to argue with you on that. There was one. Ice cream. Okay. What did ice cream mean? Ice cream meant we were getting extended. We weren't going to be able to pull in the port.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's right.
Ice cream, you weren't hitting a port when you thought you were going to hit a port.
That's right. We're headed to port, right? Yeah. Oh, ice cream.
In my defense, most of these came from a post that was dated from 2018. So after you two old guys got out of the Navy.
Hey. All right, I'll give you that. Yeah,
I'll drink to that. All right, Barney. Thank you so much for being on the show. It was a pleasure. I had a blast. I can't wait to get up to Jacksonville. We actually just met somebody from that area that came down here, and we told them we've got to come up and visit them. So we'll head up there soon, and we'll come visit you.
One of my restaurants is in Jacksonville. The other one's in Ponte Vedra. Please, tell me when you're in the area, and I'll meet you at the restaurant. We'll have dinner together.
Name the restaurants. We got to let our listeners know.
Taps Bar and Grill and South Kitchen and Spirits.
And Taps Bar and Grill is in St. John's, right?
It is in St. John's. It's on County Road 210. It's been there for, like I said, 11 years. It is my baby. South Kitchen and Spirits is elevated Southern cuisine. It's in an area called Nocatee, which is in Ponte Vedra, up and coming area. Huge free planned community. We have some of the best regulars, some of the best staff. You'll love either one of them. Before promoting this episode, I shared a couple of your reviews. Right.
People are in love with what you're doing.
Well,
you have a fantastic reputation already. So,
thank you.
Cheers to you, and we'll see you again soon.
Cheers. Thank you.
Have a great one. If you like what we're doing here, hit subscribe.